We have hit the heart of worry season in spring training, but I'm here to tell you that everything is okay with the Reds starting rotation.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, I'm Jeff Carr, and today's Locked On Reds is brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBTHE.show/lockedon and use the promo code LOCKEDON for a free pack to use in Diamond Dynasty, available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, rated E for everyone. Later on in today's show, I'll tell you why today is the reason why MLB reinstated Pete Rose and why a local cable company is stepping up. In just a few minutes, we'll dive into whether we are too optimistic about Matt McLain's 2026 season, but we'll begin with the starting rotation because everybody's worried. Everybody's losing their minds, right? When it comes to the Cincinnati Reds starting rotation. Hunter Greene is out until July. Brady Singer left a start yesterday with a blister issue. Surely he'll be out for the rest of the year. Chase Burns isn't stretched out, so obviously he's not going to be ready to go. Brandon Williamson's coming off of Tommy John surgery. Relax. Let's just take a deep breath. Because this is the point in spring training where we officially take all of our good feelings that we had early on in spring training and we crumble them up into a little tiny ball and throw it away because everything is horrible. We need to stop. Everything is fine. I had a conversation with Chad Brindle the other day on ESPN 1530, and he was losing his mind about the starting rotation. And that's a sentiment that I hear lots of people talk about with the Reds as I'm out and about and getting ready for opening day and getting excited to see this team build a division championship season in 2026. But absolutely everyone is losing their minds right now. And I'm here to tell you it's okay. Brady Singer did leave his start early on Wednesday with a blister. But the good news is everything is all right. In fact, Freddie Benavides, because it was a split squad game, Freddie Benavides said nothing major, just a precaution. It was something he was feeling. He looked at his hand a couple of times, and we wanted to make sure and get him out of there. It didn't pop open. He caught it early enough that hopefully he'll be okay, especially finishing up spring. The last week, we'd rather be safe than sorry, end quote. Good. That's exactly what they should have done. The thing with Brady Singer and this whole reported blister issue is everyone immediately goes back to Nick Lodolo. And they think, oh boy, it's over. Brady Singer's season is done. Let's look at it this way. If he has Nick Lodolo's blister, which is not the reported thing here, because remember what happened to Nick Lodolo the last time he had a blister. The blister popped open. The skin was torn off. It was like worst case scenario. And he missed 23 days. He hit the IL on August 4th. He came back August 27th. So when I think about this issue right here, let's say the worst has happened. They shut him down. He's not back for 23 days. He misses 2 starts. That's it. The worst case scenario here with Brady Singer is that he misses 2 starts in the regular season. He's back April 10th. I keep doing that. In prep, I was trying to break it all down in my mind, look at calendars and all this other stuff. But he would come back on April the 10th, and that would be like 14 or 15 games into the season. I think there were a few off days in there, but very likely he misses 2 starts, and that is the worst case scenario. It sounds like they caught it early enough. So maybe he misses 1 start. Maybe he doesn't miss any. I was really trying to hang on to record today's episode to see if I could see the news and see if they had concrete news about what they expect from this. And I'm sure the moment that I post this, that concrete news will come out. That's just how my luck is going recently. But I don't think it's going to be all that bad. Even if it's the worst case scenario, I don't expect him to miss much more than 2 starts into the season. And then you look at Chase Burns. Chase Burns only pitched 2 innings yesterday. What? What are we doing? Slow down. 48 pitches is what he hit to. And now you want to see him throw more than that at this point, but they've already said that he's slightly behind schedule as far as his warm-up. That's why they're going to do the 6-man rotation plan and he can have a piggyback start, whether it's with Brandon Williamson or it's with Rhett Lauder. But I tend to believe that this was exactly what they wanted to see from him from the pitch count standpoint. Remember, Terry Francona said last year, his first season managing the Reds, that his perfect plan for a pitcher in spring training is for them to be stretched out to 100 pitches by opening day. He didn't say stretched out to 6 innings, stretched out to 7 innings, whatever. He said 100 pitches. And likely those 100 pitches get you at least 6 innings because you're hopefully efficient enough in most of those innings to get there. The problem with Chase Burns' 48 pitches on Wednesday was he wasn't super efficient with them in the first inning, which ended up costing him in the longevity when it comes to the number of outs he was able to get for the Reds that day. But when it comes to his timeline for opening day, I don't think that this was a negative in any way. This isn't going to push him back. He's not out of the plan. The plan is 6-man. And then hopefully that works itself out rather quickly to a point where you send one of them down to AAA to get more stretched out and get ready to go. And then hopefully this whole thing is resolved by May is what I sort of have earmarked. I don't know how much longer they really want to push this type of an experiment, because the idea is that you have 5 starters, you have 8 bullpen guys. They're gambling having less bullpen guys with this. And I think that if we start to see somebody struggle, it's going to be evident that they need to go to Louisville anyway. They're not going to have a piggyback situation where one guy throws 4 good innings and then one guy struggles through 2 innings, and they just keep doing that on a regular basis because then they're hurting themselves. So I think that this ultimate plan doesn't last very long, albeit I think it's an innovative one as it is laid out, and hopefully it plays out that way. But this feeds into what happened on Wednesday, feeds into the worry that everybody has. And I would implore you to relax, to chill out just a little bit. All right. This is the point in spring training where everybody's starting to feel the season. They're starting to feel the work that they've put into this point to get ready for the regular season. And they're looking ahead at the schedule and say, boy, this thing hadn't even started yet. Oh my. And so there's a little bit of maintenance that needs to be done. This happens every single year with every single team, with every single player. They get to a point in spring training where they're just like, oof, I need to work through something here, but it's usually around this point, and it's usually close enough to opening day that us fans like to take it and go to lengths of concern that is unfounded. Because I think right now everyone is doubting the Reds' ability to get where they want to go. I'm not. I think that the starting rotation is going to be fine. They have the talent to weather the storm of missing Hunter Greene until July. And then when he comes back, it's going to be all systems go. I really feel like there is no new worry that has me believing that the Reds will not contend for the NL Central. I still firmly believe that they are in contention to win the division. And I do not downgrade the pitching staff to a level that I now say, yeah, they can't do that. I think everything's going to be fine when it comes to that. And I'm not worried about this. Again, to rehash, blister issue for Brady Singer, probably will be some more concrete report by the time this podcast posts. But as I recorded it before I was able to get that news, but I still think worst case scenario, he misses 2 starts. And Chase Burns and the plan that Derrick Johnson and Tito have when it comes to the starting rotation is still firmly within the realm of execution. So calm down about the starting rotation. I know that's hard to do in this day and age, right? Nobody's calm anymore, but calm down. Coming up next, Matt McLain has had such a good spring that I think we're overhyping him a little bit about how good this season can be for Matty Mick. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood Prediction Markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets change the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way of applying that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You are no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. We are 1 week away from opening day, and the best way to get your seat is with Game Time. If you haven't got tickets already, Game Time's got plenty of seats available on the secondary market because obviously they're sold out through the team, but plenty of people are selling their tickets over on Game Time. I actually purchased a couple of tickets in the left field corner near the foul pole on Game Time, and it's amazing because obviously if you know Great American Ballpark, you know where you want to sit. They've got your prices all in up front, no surprise fees for you, or if you're going somewhere you've never been before, they show you your view from your seat. It is so key. Game Time helps you get through all of the confusing nature of buying tickets, and they help you get exactly what you're looking for. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and you can use the promo code Locked On to save $20 off your first purchase. Get to opening day cheaper and have more confidence getting there with Game Time. Again, download the Game Time app today. Use the promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Thank you for making Locked On Reds part of your day, and thank you for helping make Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in the country. You know, you always make us your team every single day. Now take it up a notch and go ad free. Check out the Locked On Reds Everydayer Club. You go to lockedonreds.supercast.com to learn more. You can also use the promo code MARCH through the end of March to get a free month of the Locked On Reds Everydayer Club. You get an ad-free feed on your audio podcast feed of the show and so much more. Learn more at lockedonreds.supercast.com. All right, I have been so excited, and quite frankly, I'm sure you have too, about the way that Matt McLain has played this spring. But I think we're going a little far now. I think Matt McLain hype is reaching critical levels, right? Like think about Solo and the never mind, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, when you're talking about how hyped up everyone is for Matt McLain in 2026, there's some of us that are like MVP, right? He's hitting 545 in spring training. He's actually having more hits than outs. I don't think he's going to do that in the regular season. This is the episode where we ask for calm, right? Let's calm down about Matt McLain. Look, his importance to this team cannot be overstated, but I really think his hype is at this point. Let's set some reasonable expectations for him in 2026. Based on what he has done in regular season ball and some of the things that we are seeing with our eyes and some of the statistics of like plate discipline and all that other stuff, which we'll get into in just a minute, let's set some reasonable expectations for Matt McLain this year. Slash line, I'm expecting him to hit 260, have an on-base percentage of 340, and slug 430. So I'm not expecting a 500 slugging percentage. I'm not expecting him to get on base 40% of the time. And I'm not expecting him to hit 300. I feel like all of those numbers are a little bit too high for him. And if he does, great. And I will be happy to be wrong about that. But my reasonable expectations for him, the slash line is 260, 340, 430, 2020 season. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to see him hit 20 homers and steal 20 bags. I think he can easily be a 2020 guy. So if you go 2020, with a 260 batting average, 340 on base, and 430 slugging, that's a pretty good year. And I think that his glove and his fielding abilities can put him as a Gold Glove finalist at second base. I don't know if he can win it. There's some really good gloves at second base in the National League right now, but I think he can be a finalist. And that is the kind of year that I would expect from him. Let's be honest about what's going on in spring training. 545 batting average. Guess what his batting average on balls in play is right now? 545. That's ridiculously high. It's also ridiculously weird that his BABIP and his batting average are exactly the same. I think that is a spring training anomaly that works itself out if you play more games, but it's super weird because typically it's higher or it's lower. It's not the same. And just for reference, last year, his batting average on balls in play was 292. And in 2023, when he was going nuts, it was 385. So his batting average on balls in play right now it's even more astronomically higher than it was in 2023 when he was going crazy. So he's getting ridiculously lucky in that more often than not, when he puts a ball in play, it is not being caught. It's not being picked up and thrown to first base for an out. It's falling for a hit. That's not going to continue. You know what else is not going to continue? His homer to fly ball ratio. So to break that down, if he hits a ball in the air, the amount of times that he hits a ball in the air that it goes over the wall, right now that's 42.9%. His career average is 12%. 2023, when he was going crazy, it was 17%. League average is somewhere around 12 to 13%. But the point being, if a player hits a ball in the air and 50% of the time that's flying over the wall for a home run, that's ridiculous. That's video game. I don't even know that video game numbers are that lucky. He's at 42.9, so basically 43% of the time, if he hits a ball in the air, it's going over the wall for a home run. That is not going to continue. I love Matt McLain, and the numbers that we're seeing right now are so much fun. Think about where we were at the beginning of spring training. At the beginning of spring training, there were people that were just like, he has no business being on my field. I don't know why what that fake accent was, but yeah, like there were people that were like, he doesn't have any business being on the field right now. And now that's all shifted, and everybody's just like, should we sign him for the rest of his life? And how many MVPs is he going to win? So let's find the happy medium there, because he is going to be a key member of this ball club. If you were to put a C on somebody's chest, it would be Matt McLain. But let's slow down and realize there's reasonable expectations to have of him. Now, I will say this. There is something that I think translates to the regular season, what he is doing right now in spring training, and that is plate discipline. And I love what I'm seeing there. I mean, we've talked a lot about the fact that he has kind of evolved his swing into something where he can kind of stay back. He can poke that low and away curveball into right field, or at least foul it off and continue the at bat. But he's also laying off of bad pitches. Right now in spring training, his chase rate, the amount of pitches that he swings at that is outside the strike zone, is only at 17%. Take into account the fact that for his 2 years in Major League Baseball, he's swung at 25% of pitches outside the zone. So he's at 8% less than his career average right now. He's really seeing the ball well. But not only that, his contact rate is 90.4%. If he is swinging at a pitch, he is missing it less than 10% of the time. That is crazy. His career average contact rate is 74%. 16% higher right now in spring training. I think I buy that. Now, I will say this too. Part of that is he's seen a lot of pitches in the heart of the zone. According to StatCast, in spring training right now, he is seeing 35% of pitches in the heart of the strike zone, compared to just 28% for the rest of his career. So that's a lot of pitches right there where you want them if you're a hitter. But to his credit, he ain't missing them. 97% right now. When he sees a pitch in the middle of the zone, he's swinging at 97% of them. He's not missing them. He knows that he can hit them, and he's swinging at them, and he's making contact with them. To sum it all up, all of the numbers, all of the eye tests, everything is telling you that Matt McLain is seeing the ball super well right now. And that translates. That's what Joey Votto tried to do every spring training. Was he would show up to Arizona every single year and go, I just want to see the ball. Matt McLain's seeing it right now. So yeah, I think that there's something to this. I'm not expecting him to hit 300, but I'm definitely expecting a much better year than we saw from Matt McLain in 2025. Coming up next, today is the reason that Major League Baseball reinstated Pete Rose, and a local cable provider announced plans to televise Reds games for everybody in the area. It's time for this week's MLB Top 100 highlight that is brought to you by MLB The Show 26, the latest from the beloved video game franchise. Each week, we're highlighting the stars of MLB's Top 100 players list as given to you by Locked On, the elite names that you'll be playing with and building your franchise around and going head-to-head in MLB The Show. Today, we're spotlighting Andrew Abbott and his ranking in the top 100 for the Cincinnati Reds. Coming in at number 90, I was happy to see that he made the top 100 list. Had a great year last year, and I think with another great year in 2026, we will just see him climb up the rankings because folks outside of Cincinnati don't know how good that Andrew Abbott can be. He's going to show Boston on opening day. I have no doubts about that. When it comes to your favorite players like Andrew Abbott and so much more, you can play with all of them on MLB The Show 26. It's out now. Plus, you can get a free pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Just go to MLBTHE.show/lockedon and use the promo code LOCKEDON for that free pack. Boost your team now. Go get MLB The Show 26. It's available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch, and it's rated E for everyone. And it's tournament time, and FanDuel is the place to go when you're ready to put in your college basketball parlays because they got a profit boost on those college basketball parlays right now. Oh, and by the way, great time to put in your MLB futures bet as we are 1 week away from opening day. And right now I'm looking at Elly De La Cruz because Elly is healthy. We have seen the power. We have seen the speed. We've seen the awesome star power that he brings to the diamond every single day, all throughout spring training, and he is ready to go off in a major way in 2026. And right now you can get a major value on him on FanDuel because FanDuel has his season total home runs over under set at 23.5. I think he's going to smash that. He's liable to hit 30, maybe even more than 30. He's going to smash that over, and you should too over on FanDuel. That's over 23.5 home runs for Elly De La Cruz in 2026. That's over on FanDuel. Check out the FanDuel app today. FanDuel, play your game. I invite you to continue the conversation with us after the show. You can follow me at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs on Twitter and on TikTok. You can follow the show at Locked On Reds on every social media platform. You can also follow Steve at S. Offenbaker with 2 Fs. Steve will be back with us tomorrow. A little bit of a scheduling conflict. We were trying to wait on news and all this other stuff. So it happens. He lives in Hawaii. It's like 6 hours back. So sometimes we have a little bit of weirdness when it comes to scheduling recordings and things like that. But he'll be back tomorrow. All right, so there were a couple of things, one really weird and one really awesome that happened here recently. On Thursday, and I'm recording this Thursday, March 19th, Major League Baseball announced a partnership with the prediction market, a brand called PolyMarket. Now, make no mistake about it. We talk about, some wagering on different baseball games and things like that, especially when it comes to prop bets and all that. I just mentioned the fact that I'm taking the over on Elly De La Cruz's season home run total of 23.5. I like things like that. There's these other things called prediction markets, and they try to take it's not even really like a sports book. It's like a life book. You can put a wager on anything. I think that's weird. But Major League Baseball has decided that it has its official prediction market called PolyMarket. It'll be the exclusive prediction market for MLB, and it'll be the only platform allowed to use team logos and marks and all that stuff. This was reported by frontofficesports.com. This was the reason, and they haven't come out and said this. Of course, they haven't come out and said this. But if you're looking for a reason why Pete Rose was reinstated, this is it. Major League Baseball is in the business of making money off of gambling, whatever that might be. If it's sports gambling, if it's life gambling, whatever it might be. It's very odd. And I think what happened was whenever they were discussing this kind of a partnership, there was some guy sitting in the corner of the room who's like, how can we say this all with a straight face that we're doing all of this and we have banned guys for life from the game? I mean, Shoeless Joe is also reinstated. So if you're a White Sox fan, you're scratching your head. If you're a Cleveland Guardians fan, are you scratching your head about Luis Garcia and about oh my gosh, I just lost the name of the closer, the guy that's really, really good. Yeah, him. Wow, my brain is not what it used to be. But Manuel Clase, that's it. Are you scratching your head about Emmanuel Clase? Like, how can Major League Baseball police gambling within its players' roster, but also with a straight face accept a check from gambling companies? I'm sorry. I don't understand it. And this is why Pete was reinstated. Major League Baseball doesn't care if he makes the Hall of Fame. Major League Baseball cares if their narrative is consistent or not. I don't understand. The optics of this to me are icky. I don't know where you stand on this. Maybe you don't care, but I think that it's odd that we see less than a year ago today, Pete Rose gets reinstated. And now all of a sudden Major League Baseball is just like, yes, bring in money from prediction markets. I think those are weird. I don't know. But let's end on a happy note because Alta Fiber announced a multi-year partnership or a multi-year agreement, rather, to broadcast Cincinnati Reds games. This will go live on March 25th, and it'll be channel 24 if you have Alta Fiber here in the area of Cincinnati. But they will they have officially reached a long-term agreement, so it doesn't actually say how many years, but it's a long-term agreement with Major League Baseball to broadcast Cincinnati Reds games. So if you are not a streaming person, if you don't have streaming apps and all that other stuff, and whenever we talked about the fact that, you know, now you can get MLB.TV and watch the Reds and all this other stuff, and you're like, but I don't do streaming. Get Alta Fiber. Free ad. I wish that they were giving me some money. It would be nice if Alta Fiber were giving Locked On Reds some money, but if you are someone who has Alta Fiber, you can now watch Reds games on channel 24. It also will have pre and post game coverage. You can catch it all on channel 24. The channel will be live on March 25th. I do think, and to kind of bring it all together with the streaming apps and all this other stuff, but when it comes to the televising of baseball games, we're getting to a point where it's going to be easier to watch them. It's taking its time, right? You know, moving like a herd of turtles, as it were. But I think that we are getting to a spot where it's going to be easier to consume baseball games. Like, I've been jealous of the NHL because I love the NHL's deal with ESPN, where you can pretty much watch every NHL game through the ESPN app. Except for, you know, local Blue Jackets games or whatever. But when it comes to that deal, I wanted something like that for the Reds and for, you know, for Major League Baseball as a whole, but specifically for the Reds. I wanted it to be easier. I mean, in years past, you had to have so many different things, and you still kind of have to have, like, you know, Reds.TV, Peacock, all these other things if you're streaming. But at least if you have cable now, it makes more sense. If you have cable, if you have Alta Fiber, channel 24 is where you watch local Reds games. They'll be on NBC a couple of different times this year. I think they're going to be on Fox some this year. I'm not sure what games ESPN is televising, but should be on ESPN too. But also ESPN is getting to the point too, starting next season, not this year, but next season, where Reds.TV or MLB.TV as a whole will be available on the ESPN app. And so you can kind of get all your sports in one spot there. I feel like there's been this weird roller coaster of cord cutting because, like, probably about 10 years ago, it was a wise thing to start cord cutting. You could actually save money we've gotten to a point where that's tipped. It kind of feels like you're paying more, to cut the cord and all this other stuff. And especially if you're a sports fan, especially if you're a baseball fan and a Reds fan, felt like you had to have like 9 different apps or these different subscription levels to other apps. Cause like I watched the FanDuel Sports Network through Prime last year, but even that was so wonky. And hopefully it's not as wonky this year. I love the experience of being able to watch the game but listen to the radio broadcast, switch between broadcasts. You get John Sadek, you get Tommy Thrall, you get Jeff Brantley, you get Chris Welsh. You can kind of get all of the analysis in one place. But I also like that it's easier to get to, and it feels like we're getting to that point. Alta Fiber is making it easier for everybody here in the area. I think that DirecTV is also doing something like this. I think I saw that theirs is channel 661 for the season. So as not to make it seem as though this was an Alta Fiber ad. It's not. It's just I know that Alta Fiber signed a multi-year deal. DirecTV has not announced anything like that yet. We'll see if that comes about. But that's good news for folks that have their cable. March 25th is when this all goes live. And that is where we will end today's podcast. Thanks so much for everybody for checking out today's Locked On Reds podcast. Make sure that you're subscribed. We're going to be with you every single day talking about these Cincinnati Reds leading up to opening day. Awesome thing coming up here on Monday. We've got our division preview. I sat down with the other host in the National League Central, and we all kind of sort of looked at the Brewers and said, all right, they're the division champs until they're knocked off. But I'm going to tell them why they cannot ignore the Reds this year, because they're going to be contending for this division, baby. I believe it. Day 1 through 162, going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be with you all throughout right here on Locked On Reds. So make sure you subscribe. Follow us on social media at Locked On Reds, and you can follow me at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs and follow Steve at S. Offenbaker with 2 Fs. And make sure you check out Locked On MLB. If you're watching here on YouTube, hang on, we'll send you to our first ever national 24/7 streaming channel for Locked On, covering all the biggest sports stories. I'm sure maybe somebody's talking about the fact that the Bengals almost lost Tyson Anderson yesterday. Maybe not. But there's so much more on the Locked On 24/7 streaming channel that you'll see in just a moment. Or if you're listening on your favorite app, go check out Locked On MLB. Sully's got you covered every single day, as does Brett Chansey and former Reds relief pitcher Mike Stanton on Back to the Bullpen. That's all on the Locked On MLB channel, though. So make sure you go check that out today. But, as for Steve and myself, we will be Locked On Reds every single day.